Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. My name is Maya, and in today's video we are going to be doing a bookshelf tour and kind of like a book corner tour, but like there's not much to my book corner, but we're going to do a little tour of every book that I own, and we're going to actually go over every book that I own. Not like in depth, but you know, just show them all. I have 200 and something books. Do not want to count how many I actually have, so we're just going to go with it. All I know is that I have like 140 unread books. So my physical TBR count in July, actually it's July right now, I'm posting this in August, but it's July. My physical TBR count is 140 books. So we'll see how that ends up at the end of the year, but let's, I guess, just hop right in. Y'all can see I redid my bookshelves. Y'all will have seen that video before you see this video. Yes, I'm wearing the same outfit. I'm filming it the same day. So let's start with the book cart just because it's right here and it's easy. And let's start with top shelf. I do want to decorate this more, but like I also don't want to take too much time to decorate this one because I'm getting a new book cart within the next few months. So we're just gonna leave it how it is. I just have this little llama here. It's got random things in it. Literally don't know why it has what it has in it. It's just there and we're gonna leave it as it is. And then I've got my July TBR is on top of this. Y'all did not see a video for my July TBR or anything. I filmed one and then I just never posted it. So this is my July TBR. I have Lord of the Flies, Tris 6 Venom, Love and Other Words, Wildfire, The Deal, Hooked, Twisted Games, A Court of Silver Flames, and The Wedding People. So it was my miscellaneous TBR for July is just up there. And then we can come right down here. I can kind of see, let's cover up the legs. Down here is my summer TBR. So it's all the books that I wanted to read this summer. It's not organized at all. I just kind of have them all on here. So I've got Every Summer After, The Summer of Broken Rules, Seasick, Never, Scarlet, The Cruel Prince, Say You'll Remember Me, Summer in the City, The Spanish Love Deception, A Novel Love Story, Family of Liars, Turtles All the Way Down, Redeemed, and then if we turn it around, there's more. My ankle hurts. We have The Final Offer, which I actually am swapping this real quick and live on the scenes because I have the wrong book on this TBR. Terms and Conditions is what's on my TBR to read right now because I haven't read that one yet, and that's the second book in the series. So let me move this better. Okay, so Terms and Conditions, and then Beg, Borrow, or Steal, and then over here I have Queen of Shadows, Sunrise on the Reaping, Dial A for Aunties, and Then She Was Gone. So a very varying display of books. It goes from like romance, mysteries, thrillers, fantasies, all of that on that shelf. And then let's get down on the ground because that is where the last shelf is. So here we are. Y'all can see, right? Well, kind of. Let me move y'all up. So I have, this is my 2025 TBR. So all the books that I wanted to read, the 25 books I wanted to read in 2025. Now it's not 25 because I've read some of them, but I have Funny Story, Betting on You, right? Betting on You, The Grandest Game, Yours Truly, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, The Bromance Book Club, Shadow and Bone, Binding 13, It Starts With Us, Ignite Me, Beach Read, The Maidens, and then again, if we just spin this baby around, I have City of Bones, The Only One Left, and then The Love Hypothesis. So that is my book cart. Now let's move the camera again. So that was the book cart, as y'all saw, all of those. That is my TBRs is what's on the cart. Technically that's why it's TBR cart, Maya. So I'm gonna move that out of the way and we're gonna stand up and we're gonna start on the actual shelves, which actually starts on the top of the shelves. So give me 1 second. This is like the best way for me to get this angle. So I'm gonna stand on this stool and hope I don't fall over. Okay, so up here is my Sarah J. Maas shelf, pretty much, is the whole top of my bookshelves. So I have, this is my hardback of A Court of Mist and Fury, and it's kind of holding up the rest of them. And then I have Throne of Glass, the whole series here. So, well, not the whole series here, but all but Queen of Shadows, because that's over there. So That's the whole Throne of Glass series. I'm not gonna read through them all. Y'all know them. And then this is the ACOTAR series. Also ignore the weird tan lines I have on my back, okay? I wore a swimsuit I should not have worn and burned and tanned. So, shush. This is ACOTAR, the whole series. So, all but A Court of Silver Flames, which is over here, as you know. You can't see A Court of Frost and Starlight, but it's there, I promise. And then over there is a picture that I painted of the mountains. And then that is boxes that we don't talk about because they are not part of the decorations. Now, we're down, okay? Let me move the camera a little closer. We're gonna start over here. I think we're gonna start with, do we go sideways or do we go up and down? I think I'm gonna go sideways and we're just gonna deal with the chaos of it, okay? Okay. Again, a really weird angle. Let me just like hold y'all up to the shelf so that I can show you guys because it's easier that way. So, up here, I have my hardback and a couple paperbacks of my mysteries, thrillers, and horrors. So let's start going over them, I guess. I'm sorry if the camera's really shaky. I'm not a very stable person. Also, I'm on my tippy toes right now. So I have The Dreamers, The Escape Room, Invisible Girl, How to Sell a Haunted House, Girl from Widow Hills, Wrong Place, Wrong Time, We Were Restless Things, Rules for Vanishing, Bird Box, and then The Good Daughter. So that is the top shelf. And I did decide I'm not going sideways. In like 2 seconds, I decided I'm not doing that. But that is the top shelf. It's kind of just a random assortment of mysteries, thrillers, and horrors because I didn't have anywhere else to put them and they didn't really have a organization to them. So they're just up there. And then this is the first shelf that kind of has like a theme to it. So this is my Karen M. McManus, I can't speak today, sorry. Karen M. McManus and Holly Jackson shelf. So on this shelf, I have both of their books, all of the ones that I own pretty much. And then also right down here is just The Counselors by Jessica Goodman because it just fit the color scheme and it didn't fit up there. So that's that. Also, if you see any of like the gaps in the shelves, it's because they're on my cart. And so they're just over there and I didn't want to close the gaps so that whenever I read them, they just have a place. So first off, I have this little Spider-Man Funko Pop. He just sits right on top because he kind of fit the color scheme. He will fall over though, so we're going to try not to move him too much. I have him there and then sometimes I put him here. Kind of depends on the day. But the first thing on this stack here, this up and down, is the Good Girls Guide to Murder series. Minus A Good Girl's Guide to Murder because that's on the cart, but I have Good Girl, Bad Blood, As Good as Dead, and then Killjoy, which is the novella that came out. And then below that series, I have the One of Us series. So One of Us is lying, One of Us is next, and One of Us is back. That goes right there. One of the first series I actually ever read of books in general. And then over here, you can't see them well. Let me move y'all to see that real quick. Over here, I have The Reappearance of Rachel Price, Five Survive, and then The Cousin. So 2 of those are Holly Jackson, one of them is Karen and McManus, and those are just over there, you know. I am a major Holly Jackson fan, even though I've never read the Good Girls Guide to Murder series. I've read the first one, but I've read all of her other books, so yay. Now, let's go down again to another favorite shelf. So, this shelf is my Inheritance Games / Jennifer Lynn Barnes shelf. So you can't see it too well from this angle. I will actually move y'all over here so that you can see it better. But down here, well, first off, I have this little mug. It says Made with Love, Layla's at Love Light Farms. I am obsessed with Love Light Farms. I'm obsessed with BK Borison. All of her books, love them. So I have all of the merch from her site. And so this is one of them. And then it's got a couple little annotation tabs, and then it's got just a bunch of bookmarks. And then apparently a bunch of paper. What this paper is, don't know. I think it's, oh, the paper is book titles. Do I remember why I have book titles in here? No, but they're in here. And then laying down is my Inheritance Games special edition from Barnes & Noble. So it's got this sprayed edges, and then when you open it, it's got like the pages like that, and then the outside of it is this key, and it's got like the yellow gold foiling. So this is one of my prized possessions. It's also got the little page like bookmark thing. So this just kind of chills in the bookshelf. I just put it on display so that everybody can see the sprayed edges. So let's put that back. And then I have, the first book on here is The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. That is the first book in that series. I only own the first one. I've read all but the last one. So how that adds up, don't know, but it's there. So that's there by itself. And then I have the Inheritance Games series right over here. Y'all can kind of see. Sorry if it's echoey. I have the first one, which is kind of pushed out a little because it's annotated, and so the tabs are pushing up against the back of the shelf. And then I have the Hawthorne Legacy, the Final Gambit, and then the Brothers Hawthorne. So that's that shelf. It's just got that series. And then I also have one other book that goes on there, but it's on the cart as well. The Grandest Game goes under the special edition of the Inheritance Games. So let's scooch our booties down again. Okay, we're actually on the ground now. Let's tilt y'all up a little bit. This shelf here, also there's a mirror right here, which is why it's a little hard to get all the angles that I need, but I can see the camera from through the privacy screen protector, so that's nice. But this is another mystery thriller horror shelf. It has all paperbacks. So like the top one was all hardbacks and then a couple paperbacks. This is all paperbacks. So I've got, let's start over here. Can y'all see that? Y'all can. I have Truly Devious and The Vanishing Stair. Those are both part of a series. I don't have the rest of that series, just that. Also, right here is my little collection. Well, it's one of my little collections of the little books from the book boxes, or the mystery ball thingies. I don't know, that. And then I have When No One Is Watching, The One, The Woman in the Window, The Haunting and the Twin by Natasha Preston. That's 2 books by that author. Still have not read any books by that author, but those are 2 of them. And then I have How to Bury Your Brother, The Tenant, The Night She Disappeared. I can't see them. The Silent Patient. Is that it? Yeah. Those are all the books on that shelf. So just a bunch of mysteries, thrillers. I think maybe a horror or 2. I don't honestly know what genre they all are. Let's tilt y'all down more. This shelf here. Oh, y'all can see all the books. Yeah. Okay, this shelf here is my nonfiction and my classics. Sorry if my voice is changing. My throat hurts really bad right now. I've been talking so much that it hurts, but it's fine. So on here, I have Laying Down, The Great Gatsby, The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, Frankenstein, and then The Secret Garden. These are all like my classics, kind of. I don't know if The Secret Garden counts as a classic, but to me, it is. So that's my classics there. And these are all my nonfictions. So I have The Four Arrangements, The Let Them Theory, I'm Glad My Mom Died, Atomic Habits, and then The Anxious Generation. So that's that shelf. And then on the bottom shelf, let me turn the camera around so that it's easier for y'all to see and for me to read. So down here is my middle grade kind of section. So these books down here are My Neighbor Totoro, the manga, I guess, right? I don't know. I got them at Epcot, at Disney. So that's those 4. That's my favorite Studio Ghibli movie ever. So I have all 4 of those. And then I have The Borrowers by Mary Norton. That is what this is inspired. I can't speak. That is what this is inspired by, is this series here. And I loved that book and that movie growing up. So that's there. And then I have A Series of Unfortunate Events, the first one, How to Eat Fried Worms, Holes, Be More Chill, Matilda, The Wild Rescuers, which I want to read the rest of the series because I grew up watching Stacey Plays, and so I just want to read them because I loved her. And then The Last Kids on Earth, I don't know if that's the first one or not, but it's there. It was my brother's. And then Dr. Seuss, The Lorax, and then Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. So that's that shelf. I taught, for those of you who don't know, like a year ago, 2 years ago now, I taught a literature and film class for middle schoolers, and so a lot of those books are books that we read there, and I just have kept them. So let's go back up. Okay, great angle again. Right now we're onto this shelf. This middle shelf is my favorite one out of all of the shelves, just because it's my romance shelf. But this top one, I ran out of room, and it holds all my dystopian books, or at least most of my dystopian books. So over here I have the Shatter Me series, obviously, It's all but Ignite Me, because that is on my TBR card. So that's that series right there, all by itself. And then I have the Divergent series right here, all 3 of those. And then over here, I have part of the Cassandra Clare series. So I've got this series, and then I've got this one book from that, and then I've got these 3. Don't know the series names, have not gotten into that world yet, but I hopefully will. But I have all of those there, and then these 2 here. And then over here, if you can see them, I have the Maze Runner, the first book and the 4th book in the Maze Runner series. And then I have the first 2 books in the Percy Jackson series. So that's kind of that shelf. And then I have this. Did I show you all everything? Yeah. And then I have this little candle. This is my favorite candle scent ever. It's by like Sensational or something, and it's called Storm, and it's coconut and beeswax blend. And it's my favorite candle ever. I have this one, and then I have a bigger version of it too that I found. They sell it at like Home Goods, Marshalls, TJ Maxx, that type of thing. So that is up there. And then we get down to this shelf. This is the first of my 3.5 romance shelves. It's kind of 3.5 romance shelves, but 3-ish. So this shelf holds, I don't even know, it's just kind of romance. Like, there's not really organization to any of my romance books. I just kind of tried to put series and authors together as much as I could, but I also tried to stick to height, so a couple of the authors are split up, but it's okay. Over here, there's a gap because I took a book away, and it's on that card, but I have The 7-Year Slip, Check and Mate, Mr. Wrong Number, Icebreaker, Wildfire, Daydream, Icebreaker again, and then Daydream. This is my probably smut special editions of this series. So they all have like different covers. That's pretty much it, right? Oh, and then they're like signed by her, but they all have the different covers. So that's Icebreakers there. This one's Wildfire, obviously, and then this one's Daydream. I have only read Icebreaker, but I bought them when Daydream came out, and it came with all 3. So that's that. And then I just have this one on display because it gives the summer vibe, summer camp. So that one's there. And then it's also the next one I have to read, so I just have it there. And then we have Part of Your World and Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. The Mistake by Ella Kennedy. The Deal is on my cart. And then we have a couple Lynn Painter books. Lynn Painters are the ones who are spread all over the place. Plus, one of her series is split up, which really bothers me. But they're different heights. So Mr. Wrong Number and The Love Rager are on 2 different shelves because they're different heights, and I didn't like that. So that's fine. But I have Better Than the Movies, The Do-Over, and then Twisted Love, and then Nothing Like the Movies. And then over here, oh, this is another candle that a friend gave me like 2 years ago. And then this is a Christmas tree ornament that I got from a Secret Santa Christmas ornament exchange that just hang out over here. And then up here, I have my TBR jar. You all see that at least once a month. And then over here, I have hardbacks that didn't fit anywhere else, which I don't know why this one's not on that. I might put it on that. I think it's because it's a different height, so I didn't want to put it on because it's a different height, whatever. But this stack usually comes up to here, but some of those books are on there. So I have Great Big Beautiful Life, Happy Place, Red, White, and Royal Blue, and then Crossroads. And these 2 books up here are 2 special editions. This book, I actually did not like this book at all. But it's pretty, so I kept it. So this is Crossroads by Devney Perry. I like Devney Perry, I just didn't like this book. So that's fine, whatever. And then this is a special edition of Red, White, and Royal Blue. So the outside has history, and then bet we could make some. So that's the foiling there. And then when you actually go into the book, it's got like all these pictures of things that happen in the book. And I got it for like 15 bucks at a thrift store. So that was cool. But those 2 come here. And then let's move down again. So this shelf holds some of my favorite books. But it's also kind of just a height shelf. Like, I literally did the shelf based on height and then put series together. So that's that. This is a picture frame. It has no picture in it, but I will be hopefully putting one in it. It's a Friends inspired picture frame. So hopefully I have a picture of my friends that I can put in it. But starting over here, I also have my perfume that I've been using. It's from Walmart. It's $3. But let's see if I can do this without like blocking the books. first off, I have Laura Nasher's section here. So I have the fine print and the final offer, and then the other one is on there. Y'all saw me move that earlier. And then I have the Dirty Air series. I have Throttled, Collided, and Wrecked, and then Redeemed is also on my cart over there. So that's actually one of my favorite series I've read, like romance series. I love these books. I loved the second one so much, specifically Collided was one of my favorite books I've ever read. So those go there. And then I have a little Elsie Silver section. I have the Gold Rush France, 2 of the books. So I have Off to the Races and a photo finish. And then I have Flawless. And then I have a Sarah Adams section. So I have Win in Rome and Practice Makes Perfect. And then the other one is on my cart. And then these are my prized possessions, my favorite books that I own ever. I love to tell everybody about this book series, and I love to tell everybody about this book specifically. This is the Love Light Farm series. It started as a Christmas book, and then it expanded into a series of books, 4 to be exact, on different characters, and they each take place they're each supposed to be a season. I can't speak. I keep doing S's for everything. But these are my indie versions of the first 3 books in the series before she changed to the non-indie versions, the Berkeley published versions. So this book up here is In the Weeds. It's my favorite book ever to exist. My favorite book in that series specifically too, but I am obsessed with Beckett. Beckett is my favorite man to ever exist. So that is my favorite book. It's In the Weeds. And then we have Love Light Farms and Mixed Signals here. Those are the other indies. And then we come over here. Also, I think these are all signed. Are they? I don't want to like mess it up. They might not be. I don't know. One of these books is signed. We'll have to figure out which one. Hopefully it's not the one that I put on my getting rid of stack. If it is, I'll just have to swap. But either way, one of my books is signed. But I have these versions of the books as well. Love Light Farms, In the Weeds, Mixed Signals, and then Business Casual is the only one I don't have in the indie cover because it's the newest one. And then I have First Time Caller by B.K. Borison because I love B.K. Borison and I love all of her books. Also, I love this cover of this book so much. So then we get into some more just random romances. I have The Nanny by Lana Ferguson, 7 Days in June, which is one of my favorite books, actually. One of my favorite romances. Very emotional romance. Just My Type, Daisy Jones and the Six, The Love Wager, which is my favorite Lynn Painter book ever, and then They Both Die at the End. So that is that shelf. Now let's jump down again to this shelf. This one is my romance and then dark romance. So I have this little Rubik's Cube here. It's a Disney Rubik's Cube with like Disney characters on it. And then over here I have the 7-Year Slip. And then, no, I keep wanting to say the 7-Year Slip for everything. Jeez, that was a good book though. The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo is right here. And then The Fault in Our Stars and Paper Town by John Green. And then It Ends With Us. And then The Sun Is Also a Star and Everything Everything by Nicola Yoon. Everything Everything is one of the first books I actually read reading, like when I got into reading. And I stayed up and I read it in one sitting. And I didn't sleep that night. So that's a good book in my opinion. And then I have The Summer I Turned Pretty. I have these 3 versions of it. And then I have this one version of the first book. And then Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute, Addicted to You, The Things We Leave Unfinished, and then Indigo Ridge and After. And then on display here is Whistleblower. It's a special edition from Probably Smut. This is the first book in the Paladin series. It's one of my favorite covers I own. So then we get to our dark romance because this one's the first dark romance. I wanted to split it up somehow. I have 5 Brothers, Praise, Eyes on Me. These are both a part of the Salacious Sinners Club, I think is what it's called. The Salacious Players Club. So those are 2 books. I actually did really enjoy those. I liked the first one better than the second one just because the second one does have the step-sibling trope and I'm not the biggest fan of that. But it's okay. And then I have Haunting and Hunting Adeline, The Wallflower, Lights Out, and Gothica. So that is that shelf. Now let's go down again. Now we've got this one here. This is the final shelf on this bookshelf. This is the final one with books on it. The bottom one's actually empty, so I have room to grow. But this shelf is kind of all over the place. It just kind of holds my miscellaneous books. Starting over here, I have my Scarlet Witch Funko Pop from the WandaVision show. It's in a plastic container and I refuse to take it out. And then this is Hawkeye. It's Kate Bishop and Lucky the Pizza Dog. I'm obsessed with them as well. So I'm a Marvel fan, if you can't tell. And then I have Winter in Paradise, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and The Newcomer. They're just kind of stacked there because they were some hardbacks. It's just where they went. And then I have Lessons in Chemistry, All the Lonely People, Grown, Girl in Pieces, Meg and Joe, Sunset Beach, All the Bright Places, Summer People, We Were Liars, and then this is my Christmas book section, so it's kind of just here. I have All I Want for Christmas, Meet Me Under the Mistletoe, The Santa Suit, A Very Merry Bromas, The Ex-Hex, One Last Gift, A Merry Little Meet Cute, and then 'Tis the Season for Revenge. So obviously one of those is a Halloween book, but they're all just over there. And the bottom shelf, like I said, is empty. So let's do this next one, but I'm gonna work just from the bottom up because I'm already down here. So let's start with this very bottom shelf down here. Y'all can't really see it. Let's move what y'all are on. Let's see. Is that better? Maybe. I can't really see what y'all can see because the privacy screen protector is not working with me right now. But this is a book. This is a random fantasy shelf, pretty much. So I have the Twilight series right here. The first 2 books, I think. Those are just chilling there on their own. And then I have Carry On, and then these 2 Avatar books, The Rise of Kyoshi and The Shadow of Kyoshi. And then The Wren in the Holy Library, A Reaper at the Gates, which I don't even think is the first book in the series, but I just found it for cheap, and so I bought it. And then 5 Broken Blades and Aragon. So that's this bottom shelf. Nothing too special. It's just kind of there. And then we go up. And it's kind of blocked by the book cart, but I can't really move the book cart anymore, so it's just there. This is my first shelf of, this is like fairy tale-esque romantasy vibes, I guess is what it would be. But ignoring these books here, this Caraval, and then this special edition of A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. It also came from Properly Smut, and it's got, I don't want to like spoil anything, but like no context. It's got like that. So that's that book there. My cat is scratching stuff. Stop it. And then Grace and Fury, which also I think has a special thing in it, doesn't it? Oh yeah, it's got like this card in it, and like it's written note from the author, which I think is interesting. I just bought this at the library. It's also got like a bookmark in it. It's signed, so hopefully I like it because it's like fully decked out. And then Powerful is here and not with the rest of the series because it just didn't fit on that shelf. And then this is my Marissa Meyer shelf. So I have Cinder, I have Cinder, Cress, and then Winter, and then Scarlet is on this shelf, and then I have Heartless. So that is there. And then I also have this little snow globe. It's gross, if you can't tell. It's old, but it's from The Princess and the Pauper, the Barbie movie. So let's move up again. The book cart is pretty much out of the way now. This is the Empyrean series, my Rebecca Yarros shelf. So over here I have the special Christmas edition, the red one of Fourth Wing, and then I have the original Fourth Wing cover with the sprayed edges. I have Onyx Storm, and then I have the special Target edition of Onyx Storm, and then I have Iron Flame, and then I have another version of Onyx Storm. It's the same exact book. And then behind here, I have the paperback sprayed edges of Fourth Wing, and I have another unsprayed edges of Fourth Wing. So, addiction? Maybe, but it's okay. Let me get up. I feel old. I'm only 21 and I feel old. Okay, we're back up. This is my other favorite shelf. It is the Powerless series. So I have Powerless, Reckless, and Fearless, and I kind of have them just on display. I thought about taking the dust jackets off and displaying the edges, or what's it called? The foiling? I might do that, but for now, I just like it like this. It's cute. And then we go up again, and let me like carry y'all over here. So, y'all are on top of books on the book cart while I hold y'all. This shelf is it's just kind of miscellaneous, honestly, fantasy shelf. I have Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo, and then I have the Shadow and Bone trilogy here, but Shadow and Bone is not on here. It is on the cart, so it's just Siege and Storm and Ruin and Rising. And then I have my bonsai tray, my Lego bonsai, and then over here is the Cruel Prince series, but obviously the Cruel Prince is missing. So I have Queen of Nothing and Wicked Kingdom, and Wicked King, and Cruel Prince is on the cart. I'm getting tired. I'm so happy this is the last shelf. this is the final shelf. First off, I have another Scarlet Witch up there because I love her. And then let me stand on this cart. This, not cart, this, I don't even know what it's called. Again, stool, whatever. This is my like middle grade-esque, I don't know, young adult fantasy shelf. So I have The Hobbit over there. And then these are two little books that are like in the Harry Potter series, like that they read for classes. And then I have, oh, turn her back around. And then I have the first book in the Harry Potter series, but like the special version. I don't know, it has like puzzles and stuff in it. It's really cute. And then I have the Hunger Games series over there. They're all different versions and I don't like it, so I pretend like they're not there. And then the last book in that series is on my TBR card. So let's get down and let's do an overview, I guess. That was the bookshelves. That's a lot. It's 200 something books. I don't know exactly how many. I think it's 280 something, but that's the bookshelves. It's my favorite thing in my bedroom currently. And then like in this corner, I said I would give you all a little tour of like the corner. There's not much. There's a mirror here where you can see me. And then over here I have like my ukulele, my box drum, my keyboard. My brother has my guitar. And then over here, this book cart goes all the way over there by my bed. It's like my second nightstand. And then over here, I just have like my vinyls and stuff, but none of it's organized right now. So that is the tour of my book corner. The camera is crooked, but that's all for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I need to go drink some water because my throat hurts, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, subscribe, comment down below, anything you want. Just please be nice, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.